most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together, we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Oh, in our opinion, of course, Bob.
Most stretched out ones, too. Today, we're going to talk about stop back pain and hunchback from stenosis. These are at-home exercises.
Right.
And we have been using these on real patients, and they have been working.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
by the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, you want to join us on our social media sites and also bobandbrad.com because we're always giving something away. I wonder what we're giving away now, Brad.
Ah, yes.
The Booyah Stik. So go to Bob and Brad, go to the giveaway section, and you'll see that link there. Then also you can go to Bob and Brad on Facebook, and we got a pin to the top of the page. Short version of us. Go to Twitter and Instagram, 60-second version of our program. All right.
All right. So, Bob, stenosis. First of all, we better clarify it. It's one of those words that I think scares people more than it really needs to. Actually, and I did a little research, approximately 350,000 U.S. citizens are diagnosed with this.
That's a lot.
Over 50 years old, which is pretty typical.
Yeah.
Stenosis usually happens to the older crowd. But there are people who have a minor degree of stenosis and no symptoms and they aren't aware of it.
I think you can think of it almost like it's like arthritis. You know, I mean, it's a deterioration and it creates
the aging process.
Let's say a part of the aging process.
Exactly.
Very good way of saying
so
it.
If we grab a spine and let's just take a look what it is. Stenosis, the term actually refers to the narrowing of a hole or a
foramen,
which is where, oh, where's my pen, my pointer? So on your back, the narrowing foramen or the hole, because you can have stenosis of your arteries, which means your arteries are getting plugged up. They're getting smaller.
And you can have stenosis of the main canal. Well, the spinal cord goes
right,
down too.
Right in here. So it can refer to anything that there's a narrowing of. And right here, each level, you can have the spinal nerve come out. The hole right there, it's called the foramen. That becomes narrower. Sometimes it's because the discs are shrinking or getting smaller. Sometimes it could be from osteophytes,
buildup of
calcium on there. And there's a number of reasons, but what we need to do is, if they're causing pain, which that's why you'd be watching this video, how to rectify that. And the other thing about stenosis is a few common symptoms, Bob, are if you lean forward, it feels a little bit better. If you're up tall or extend backwards with repetition or like with walking, it can make things worse consistently. And then if you flex, oh, it feels better.
Often called shopping cart syndrome because
Sure.
a lot of people feel better when they lean on the shopping cart.
Right.
So not the sharping cart.
Assuming you're in the grocery store.
If you're in the grocery store, right.
So there you go. So actually, I just had a patient. I'm still working with him right now. He had the exact same symptoms. 69 years old, gray hair, very active person. But he says, when I walk, I have to walk flex forward. It feels better. When I sit down, he slouches forward. So he says, I know, but as I get older, I'm going to end up like a hunchback.
Right.
Because I'm always doing this. And I said, you're exactly right.
And I've got a patient exactly like that too, but she's female.
Okay. So both genders.
Both genders.
It's not, it doesn't matter. So what we need to do is, first of all, if you're getting pinching of those nerves, we need to open up the foramens. And now, Bob and I were talking about this. We're going to show you 6 different exercises and maybe a couple extra bonuses. You may not be doing all 6 of them.
No, you got to pick the ones that you're able to do pain-free.
Right. The ones you respond to positively. It feels better, and it feels better when you're done. So watch the whole video and then go through them one at a time. Pick the ones that work for you. So.
Yes, and don't make us angry. If it's hurting, stop.
Right.
So
right. It
listen
should
to
feel
us.
good. So.
Should I do hook line?
Yeah, do the hook line, Bob. This one is a real general exercise, very simple, and most people will probably tolerate this, but you may not.
So I'm putting my feet together, my knees together, and I'm going back and forth. Brad likes to call it windshield wipers.
Yeah.
And what's nice about this is if one direction hurts, let's say going to the left hurts,
yep,
I can just work going to the right then. Start with that. And thank you, Brad.
Oh, you're welcome.
And then eventually you go and check that left side out again, because eventually you may be able to go to the left.
So what we're doing here, this is for the lower back and some of the middle back. If you have stenosis out there, it's just starting to loosen those areas up.
Yeah, the body has a great capacity to heal.
Right.
And they're not even sure why sometimes why it gets better.
The stenosis.
Yeah, why
right.
the stenosis gets better, but they are actually talk about chemicals that maybe eat away some of the bone and such.
Right.
So
I feel strongly that's what happened with my stenosis, because I had a pretty bad case of it a few
Sure.
years ago. Then also want to go to the kneaded chest?
sure, then we can go to single kneaded chest. So I'm going to start off with if you can't reach around your knee, you can grab underneath the thigh here and pull
Sure.
forward like this.
Yep.
And then eventually grab there. If you need a towel,
Yeah.
Brad's going to give me a towel. If you can't pull the leg at all, just put the towel around there or a belt and pull it up like that to start with a single kneaded chest. And then eventually what you'd like to do is go to a double kneaded chest. And usually what I have people do with that is I bring one up and then bring the other one up
Right.
and then give a little bit of pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off.
And
Is that what
usually
you're having to do?
repetitions of 10.
Right.
Right. And the reason, some people, it's amazing. If you're pretty able-bodied, you would say, well, just bring your knees up. But there's a lot of people that may not be able to do that. So you need the towel roll.
And the thing is, I don't want you to have pain when you're bringing it up.
Yep.
You really don't want to have any, things that trigger the pain.
Right.
So
Now, I would say typically most stenosis people I work with, these two exercises are tolerated well. But the person I have right now, these aren't tolerated. So we had to skip these two.
right, interesting. Even the
windshield wipers were okay.
Okay.
But
the kneaded chest, all single knee and double knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now
Now
this
this is going to be yours to do, Brad.
Yeah. This one works really well for me. I used to have stenosis in my low back to the point where it pinched the nerve and I'd get numbness down my leg. And this is one of the exercises that helped me get through it. You can either, if you have a 6-inch roll, use that. If you don't have to buy one. You can roll up a towel, pretty thick though, and you got to roll that pretty
That'd be
firm.
a couple towels actually. That was
Yeah,
a sheet and a towel, I think.
yeah, exactly. So it's got to be about 5 or 6 inches, nice and firm. We have duct tape, red duct tape, to hold it together. I'll show you on that first. The roll does work better, but not needed. And you're going to put it below your belt line about 3 or 4 inches, so it's still on the sacrum. And you may not be aware of the anatomy that way, but you're going to do this, and you can actually do double knees at chest, and this actually opens that gap up. And for me, this immediately, I'm pretty happy right now. This just feels good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to this because this even works better.
And
for
again,
me.
if it hurts,
Yep.
stop
Yep.
immediately.
Because this one is a little more aggressive, so some people it'll be too much for, or it's hard to get it organized, so it helps. And if it does work, use it, and if not, just go to the next one. Boy, it just feels good, Bob. I could just sit here for the rest of the video, but we got work to do.
All right.
All right.
You can probably just stay right there, Brad, because you're going to show the next one, right?
Okay, yes. Now, those exercises are not going to help your upright posture.
Right.
They're going to open up the facets, get the stenosis better,
Yeah.
but you have to address these exercises, the next 3 for posture. And the first one, and this is, you use this on your patient too? Laying supine?
She wasn't able to do it.
Right. And actually, the gentleman I have, he could tolerate this
You
a
want
little
pillow
bit.
with that one, Brad?
But we went to another one. But this may work good for some people. If your head doesn't go down flat comfortably, make sure you get a pillow. Because if you have stenosis up in the neck or the upper back, that may prevent you from doing this.
Even if it's,
comfortably.
let's say it's even in the central spinal cord,
Yep.
it might feel better to have the neck
Sure.
forward.
Yep.
I mean,
This is a real individual thing, and depending on the degree of your stenosis.
right.
So the idea is you might have a pillow here and start out with your knees up, and that might be better. But eventually, you want to start trying to get flatter and maybe a thinner pillow, and possibly get down to the point where like this. And now your posture is good, except for you're laying down. This is the way you want to be standing, as opposed to that humped.
Right.
Flex over.
And again, she couldn't get close to that even.
So
she had to do this next one.
okay,
So,
prone.
yeah, prone, and we actually had to have 2 pillows, but
Well, we got
So,
2.
I mean, you can start off and see. I mean, you first can try without a pillow.
Sure.
And if you can tolerate that, great, but you probably won't be able to. You may need 1 or 2 pillows to start.
So what we're doing here, if you're flexed over from your stenosis and you want to start to get straight again, if you lay flat on the floor, a bed would work okay if it's a firmer bed. Like Bob said, if you can get like this, you're just going to stretch you out to get you more straight. But chances are that's going to be too aggressive. Put 2 pillows underneath and you can lay like this. And the idea is, if that's tolerated well, you're going to lay there for a few minutes just for a stretch and then you're done. If
And you're going to try to work your way away from the pillows.
right, if it feels pretty good after 2 or 3 minutes, take 1 pillow out and then that's going to get you a little straighter. And you should feel a stretch, not a sharp, painful stretch, but a mild stretch. And then just lay there. It's kind of a nice, easy exercise. And eventually get to no pillows. And possibly, you might even just start to do this.
Right.
The patient I had, 1 pillow was all he tolerated.
Sure.
And we couldn't go down flat.
But you said he got 50% better.
Right. And
Yeah.
which was amazing to me because that brings us to our next exercise is he's got this and he wants to get up. So he didn't tolerate this really well, but he did tolerate this, which really surprised me. I had him put his forearms on the wall, his feet about 2 feet from the wall, and then I had him do this. And it tolerated it fairly well. And
Yeah, that's very interesting, isn't it?
yeah, it was. I did not expect this, but I had him do that. He does it 2 to 3 times per day. And his back was tender. I touched it and it was tender. And I says, he's been using a hot pack. And I said, well, but he wasn't getting real good response. So we start using the cold pack. And he sat against the cold pack and he said, oh, that feels good. So now I use a cold pack every day.
Yeah, and that's why we try different exercises
Yeah.
and different modalities because
Right.
you never know what's going to work.
Because a lot of times with stenosis and you got tight muscles, I'm thinking hot pack.
Right.
But in his case, he was so tender. I just touched it and it's painful. Then we tried cold and it changed,
Very interesting.
Yeah. We're all different individuals, but there you go. I'm sure you'll find some things here that are going to make your stenosis and your posture better.
Yeah, remember, Brad and I are not just pretty.
We're pretty ugly, Bob.
No,
that's
we're
right.
pretty helpful and
Yeah,
handy.
pretty handy.
Watch the show. Thanks for watching.